saw Obi like 3 minutes ago, so...
Just did a quick instant teleportation.
Instant teleportation. Oh, well, apparently you're muted, so... what Obi just said is he teleported.
Yeah, I was like, I just did a quick instant teleportation. It's a Dragon Ball Z reference right there, so...
teleportation would be amazing.
Actually. Did you know they were able to teleport electrons?
Oh, okay.
Successfully? Well, you know, it's a good step. It's a step in the right direction. Come on. No, but here's the issue with teleportation right now. When another U is made on the other side, is it the same U?
This was my biggest beef with the whole.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, I used to have issues with that.
Yeah.
From a kid, I was just like, this whole the transporter thing in Star Trek was just like, nah, bro. This ain't flying, and it doesn't make no sense. And I was with Bones on that one. I'm like, nah, I ain't getting into that thing. That ain't me, man. I've seen, connect to Unity if you can. They're saying no.
I'll be right back.
In all seriousness, yeah, go grab your lunch, man.
Yeah.
Obi ordered a burger, so he's gonna grab
it's here.
burger.
I just gotta go grab it.
No, but it ain't right. It was just like in that Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale movie, The Prestige or whatnot. And if you haven't seen the movie, then whatever. If it's over a decade old, then I'm not spoiling anything. But let's just say the magic trick works exactly how you thought it did. At the end of the day, I'm in something new for the first time in a while. You're gonna see I'm in Micron. But I guess like today, it's just a trend. I wanted to wait for a trend reverse. Like I didn't want to be all over the place looking for this one to revert, but I'll just quickly show you what I'm looking for, at least what I was looking for here. You got the Friday's high. This is the trend from the afternoon breakout, 287. You can see it kind of like breaks the trend line on the 15, but more importantly on the 3 here. So there's your breakout at 87. Broke this trend line in. I got myself the price I wanted. I kind of wanted 291 even, but I got pretty enough close enough to it. If it breaks this prior bar, which is this one right here, then I'm just gonna jump out. So it's a little bit in front of the high of the day. So that's one plan of action. The other thing is I'm still trying to get back into, I was in IBIT to the short side. I'm trying to get back into that one, as Bitcoin hadn't had a very good day at all. And then remember, silver, I feel like the metals are what everyone's talking about. I heard everybody in the chat and the conversation that was going on, and there's so much ado about the move in silver and most of the precious metals here today. And that is the big story. It did hit 10% down, caught a little bit of bounce there, rejected VWAP. In the grand scheme of things, it's kind of a drop in the bucket, this pullback, but the volume in the last 2 sessions has been tremendous. I mean, just absolutely huge volume has come into the silver market.
I don't know if I want to market for them. That's the only thing. They make some dope burgers. I've had them a couple of times. I'm like, all right, cool. I don't know. Hold on.
I'm used to being on the other side of, like usually I'm the one eating in front of people. Now I have to look at that burger. Hey, ugly man. Delicious. We're about to find out how tasty it is. At least show everybody the bag.
Okay, fine.
You're gonna eat it in front of me.
These guys are now they're gonna get increased volume because of this marketing. Yeah, there you go. So
no, yeah, I don't
know. Pretty solid. I got the jalapenos gone wild. Dude, you have to. They had a sale. Normally the burger is like $13. Now it's like $7. Like, all right, why not?
That sounds like a pretty good deal.
That's a dope deal, man. 30, 40% off. Buy the dip. Come on.
I'm not.
It's what I do.
Even I'm not gonna only get something because it's a deal.
No.
If it's food.
I was looking at my my options. I was just like, this is.
I got some spam.
This is within range, so I'll hit it. So
I mean, we'll see. You have to give us your take on how good this is. Ugly, delicious.
Yes, in Toronto.
In the T-Dot. I don't know, is it only local?
No, I think, I don't know any other locations.
Okay.
We're
not sure if it's only local. Yeah, we'll find out. We'll also find out if it tastes good, but let's first go to Shreve. Let's see what symbols you guys want to talk about. I got a high probability that SLV is going to be one of them.
All right, guys, welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. As you saw, he's in for Sean this afternoon. But the big boys, they are locked and they are loaded and they're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. So the only way To get your tickers on this afternoon rundown is you got to get into the chat and you got to vote for your favorite tickers every day. Just make sure you're throwing in that $ before the ticker of your choice. Fabian, let's look at all 4 major averages, and all 4 major averages are in negative territory, starting here with the NQ down 2/3%. The ES faring much the same fate here, down 0.5%, a little bit less. The Dow down 0.56, faring the worst, of course. Well, I don't know about of course, but it is down 0.75 is the Russell 2000 trading near the lows. Only 2 points off the lows there, guys. BNAI is the first ticker as decided by you guys. What a move this was during the midday, up 107% with a 278 high. It's trying to break back above 250 here. And here's why it's up. AI deal with a global ad agency for top 10 pharma. They're going to get $250K in revenue in Q4 of this year. Monthly fees from Q1 of 26 are going to be about $2.5 million in liability reductions as well. The CEO of the company noted that healthcare expansion, AI adoption in the US and Mexico is the reason why they're moving up. So keeping an eye here on BNAI, guys, as it continues to put in higher lows.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to lie. I didn't think that one was going to be at the top of the list. I was so incredibly sure it was going to be SLV, which apparently is going to be number 2. So,
Okay.
yeah, okay.
Right.
What's interesting about this one is this happened before, so I can't say this is the only time I've ever seen this, because I talked about this the last time it did, like weeks ago, maybe even months ago. There was a small cap stock where I sat down in the afternoon, and it actually had a pretty reasonable all-day trend line, which BNAI does. So I'll get to that in a quick second. First, hey, that's not bad. We get so accustomed to looking at like absolutely terrible daily charts for these small cappers. If I zoom in and squint enough, this has actually made a couple of bounces that have been able to, hold some high lows as a penny stock, and then you get a secondary push in here where it holds over $1. So it's a couple of positives. The only downside here would be, hey, look where we were on the 12th, and look where we rejected the day after, $2.60. Well, oops, look where the sellers have gained some control, $2.60. So while I look at this trend line, I think if you're going long off the trend, you're scalping it for that 10%, maybe holding some for a follow through. I'd much rather play the game of try to ignore this little portion up here. Look at this channel outside of the 260 rejection. If it can consolidate up top, then the longs over 260 I'd rather have. And if it breaks down under this trend line, I've already paid for locates, I'm going short. That's just how I roll. To me, it's all about setup. We'll get to Micron. I think Micron's gonna be number 3, but I gotta show you. We broke the prior bar. I might have top wicked this thing. I don't mind getting back in if it does consolidate again, but it's just a simple trend break setup. I'm looking to get this to play to here, to there, and sometimes VWAP, but I don't mind jumping back in. But I see the same thing on BNAI. An all-day trend line, which, annoying, I didn't hit save. There. Now I save my trend line. Next time I do this, it'll still be there. No, if we lose this trend, I'm gonna look for a short. It's tight to VWAP, so it's not always the easiest entry, but it's either that or it can find buyers above 260 again and then take a shot breaking out above this channel on BNAI. Either way, this is something to trade this afternoon. I can't see any way around it, whether it's scalping inside of the range or looking for the breakout outside. It's not often that a small capper has the attention like this because of the structure, but it clearly does have it.
Yeah, I think you pointed out the main thing here that trend is holding, and trend is holding exceptionally well. We got an aggressive bid off of the open. That reversion was pretty nice back down into VWAP, but cannot break back below VWAP. And interestingly enough, trend is holding in multiple different ways. You throw on a trend line, that's holding as well pretty decently all the way from the lows here. But also, if you just take a look at support and resistance right here, if I just throw up a horizontal at pre-market highs right there, take a look at that, Neil. Coming right back in, pulling into pre-market highs, can't get any lower. That's a resistance turned into support at a shorter time frame, and that leads to this downtrend break, which leads to a reclaim of VWAP, which leads to kind of structure stepping up, and a wind up, and then boom, is slapping through the day high, and then maybe that's a little too far, too fast, pulling right back in, but into trend as well. So yeah, definitely going to keep eyes on this one. I haven't been active on this one at all, but now that it's been pointed out, maybe I'm going to consider it, keeping a close eye on it, see how it pans out. This could be a multi-day mover, right? This could come into a multi-day move. Now, I kind of missed what the news specifically was, but again, if the sentiment around that news sustains and the price action also sustains, that increases the likelihood of this becoming a multi-day opportunity. So BNAI, I don't know, maybe we'll stay a little engaged with this one if it continues to do more of the same.
Silver?
Guys, down 8, well, SLV is down 8.68. Looking to possibly recover a little bit over here, 63.92 low. We'll have to see this one where it ends up finishing off, but what a move over the weekend, hitting $82 an ounce, all-time highs before that sharp reversal. Many reasons here being cited for the sharp reversal. One, China is putting export restrictions on the export of silver. Secondly, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the CME, off which the silver futures trade, has now upped its margin requirement to about $25,000, and that has a little bit of a damper here on the trading. Year to date, guys, silver still up around 140%.
It's like, yeah, it's such a bad day. It's still up 140%. You had the graphic, Obi was showing the graphic about the gold to silver ratio, and to the extent to which anybody agrees, whether you agree with it or not, what has been true is there's a lot of belief in that even a small reversion would mean this is just all beginning.
Yeah, I mean,
and I mean the volume's spectacular here. Sometimes when you have this kind of a parabolic move up, it requires some kind of a release and some kind of a pullback. And so, in this particular case, the catalyst just ends up being maybe there was some bank that got over leveraged. Maybe there was, maybe there wasn't. Certainly margin requirements going up. Yeah, okay, that can make a little bit of sense too. So you get a little bit of unwinding in. But when you start to think about, the historic nature of what metals get used for and the historic nature of the amount of money printing that has happened, the simple fact that none of that is seemingly going anywhere. You don't usually have the metals at their tops when the market is also at the highs. Like, there's a lot out there that would suggest there's an opportunity for a dip buy here. I don't know if right away today is the answer. Certainly there's going to be some obvious levels like in the mid-50s, and the 50 period or some levels that I think make some obvious sense on SLV. But we'll have to wait, because I said this in the morning, this hasn't had back-to-back red days since the middle of November. It's been just like a month, almost a month and a half since we've actually seen, like a multi-day pullback on this thing. We've had consolidations, but this is a pretty hefty move. But if we meet this 8% down or whatever it ends up being by simply just holding tomorrow and retracing and having a green day, then we're back to the normal. It just ended up being more of a liquidity event, and then we're right back into the trend. So I think tomorrow is going to be very telling. In terms of what you can do on down, I don't care what, a lot of times it doesn't even matter which direction the stock is going. You can have a plan of action and it can work for you. Like, I was just only looking for trend breaks. And so when I got a trend break, it's like, okay, well, that one probably could have worked, but didn't. And this one played into VWAP, but it was a pretty tight move. Like, if it only gives you like 50, 60 cents, and that was all that was to be captured on this trend break, so that's what I took. So you take what you can get, and that's just a setup that I like. It just didn't follow through, and I got some out in the back end. There's a decent chance that this might not be as exciting this afternoon as it was this morning. I think that's a pretty decent probability, which is absolutely fine. I don't think that will be true the next couple of days, though. So I think either trade this off of VWAP, or ideally would break away from VWAP for some of the longs. But otherwise, I don't mind sitting on the sidelines till tomorrow with SLV. Like I said, I was able to get away with a couple of longs because I was pretty patient with my entries and willing to take whatever it gave me because I was late to the move. So just because you're like $1 late to, or like 60, 70 cents late to the move, doesn't mean you try to take it past VWAP when the trade is to VWAP. Yeah. Like, I got my entry tight to VWAP, so I took 60 cents because that's what it gave me. And that's what you have to be able to do in this type of a market. So And again, like I'm showing you SLV because that's what we will actively trade. Obviously, it's not the same as futures, silver futures, but more or less the actual momentum does.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. I'm going to continue watching this name to see if this is really the backside. I do talk about like maybe a little too crowded, maybe a little too far too fast there. I did get involved with this one in the morning session here, kind of coming in, gapping down the first kind of a red day here in a little bit, right? So first gap down day, let's say that. First gap down day below the prior day's low. Maybe we had this one here on December 12th as well, and then, but here's the thing, we opened up higher. So I'm talking about a gap down day below the prior day's action right there. I guess we had this one here, December 4th, maybe people getting in here, but then another squeeze out there after a break of this $50. I think that $50 break, we couldn't pull back into 50, and then coming in pretty aggressively here, almost a parabolic move here on silver. It started to get that way, and a strong push here to the downside on the day. But yeah, you can see here, Neil, it's still in this trend. I just need to simply draw this trend line here to be like, okay, cool, let's get rid of this one, this intraday one that's getting in our way. But yeah, look, well within range, right? Kind of, let's clean it up a little bit. Strong red day right there. But yeah, well within range of this trend. Now, if this cracks now, what is that? If we get below 60s, 65s distinctly, and then start to hold, maybe that's a bit of the backside here. But again, I don't know when this move is going to be finished. I don't know why it's running up the way it is. I'm sure there's so many different factors that kind of play a part into this. But I was kind of watching the tape on Friday, and it was very squeezy. I took one short on it, Neil, and then it was the back through 70 here. That 70 did not crack at all. Right? Oh, yeah. It bid right back up, and I took a break even on that because I was like, yeah, no, this is not headed that way. And then boom, to the upside. And then over the weekend, and I think over in the futures, we had a bit of a move even higher before the pullback in. So if you really wanted to exercise that backside short, the futures was the vehicle to really get it in on. But silver here, this is just iShares Silver Trust. It's not the same as the futures, like you said earlier. So definitely going to have eyes on this one. Definitely very much in play with the type of volume it's doing today. I think it's doing 3 times relative volume here. 1.8 on my chart here, but you can see 30-day average volume, 50 million. I said in the morning, this is probably going to end up doing about 150 by the end of the day. And we have 2 hours left. We can definitely do 20 million more.
Oh, easily, and at the close too, there'll be a ton, even the last probably like 15 minutes or so. But let's head back on up. I think I know what the next name is on the list as we go back to the desk. Oh, Sia has joined Sharif. We're back to go Sharif. And Sharif, make sure you join Unity, I'm supposed to tell you.
Ooh, I should be doing that too.
Oh, Obi, my bad. No, it's Obi.
Unity.
All right.
Unity. I'm coming.
All right, guys. Micron is next. Sia's back too, so welcome, Sia, guys. Micron is a rocket ship. So there's really no specific Micron headline today to justify the 2.25% move, but we know that this thing's been moving up because, well, AI data center demand doesn't stop, and they need these DRAM, high bandwidth memory, to put in the AI servers. So just a little calculation here. Micron is up 247% year to date, but that doesn't tell the full story. Let's take a look at the lows from the tariff tantrum. We are up 405% on Micron from the lows in April when President Trump started putting tariffs on other countries, with that barely breaching $60, guys. Now we are knocking on the door of 300 with a 291.85 high. Needless to say, it's been a good year for Micron.
It has been a good year for Micron, and good name for all of the memory names. So a good year for all of the memory names. You look at the monthly chart of Micron. Like, look at how distinctly different this has become. Like, it went from like a very orderly, like a lot of tech has been strong, so like an orderly up move in the last decade or so, and then this recent breakout has gone a little bit parabolic. But on a monthly chart, you've had 3 of the last 4 months effectively have gone completely parabolic. One little consolidated month is the best way I'm looking at it. So I'm back in, playing basically off of this prior high. It's as simple as it gets, right? Like, I'm looking for a trend break back into what would be Fridays. It's not the highs on Friday because the highs are up in the pre-market up here, but at the open, kind of rejected 292 and then sort of flushed. So it rejected 292 and is now breaking on the 15-minute. So if it breaks the high, jump out. Otherwise, in a mean reversion trade. And the other thing I wanted to play to, just because these names kind of move, I don't know, similarly, let's just say, usually. SNDK, not so much today. Like as I'm looking at this, I'm reminding myself, like I've been usually saying, oh, the weak one's SNDK in the memory space. This one is the one that you usually want to short. And the Micron breaks higher, and then guess what? This is actually failing. So I'm looking at this and sort of asking myself, okay, well, if I do get this start to break trend, I'll probably hop over. If this sets up also shorting, like rolling over here at about 245, I'd probably even like that better, so to speak. Micron at all-time highs effectively. SNDK can't get to those highs. So I still think it's the weaker one. It's proving so today. It just hasn't really set up some kind of a trade entry yet. I emphasize the yet. I still think it can. Yeah. BNAI is starting to go. This might actually break out. Ooh. What's the name of this company again? Oh, goodness.
Something.
Brand Engagement Network, Inc. Brand Engagement Network, Inc.
Their brand is definitely getting engaged on the day today. So.
Sometimes it's like, what are we doing?
The names kind of, they name themselves.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, man, Micron's pretty solid there. I saw it in the morning and I was just like, all right, well, that's a pretty strong move. So I'm looking for the reversion because I'm just like, okay, this might be a little too far too fast here, but comes in pretty decently on the break of trend back into VWAP. I take it a couple of times. Right here, where is it? Yeah, okay, so right here, you can see in the morning session, let me just make this a little bit bigger here. I did get involved in the morning session on that break. This is a 3-minute chart. When the sellers came in, I'm like, all right, let's get involved a little bit here. This thing comes in right away. I'm just like, okay, well, I don't have enough. And then comes in once again. I'm like, okay, I'm willing to take it again for a potential breakdown of this, but take everything off on VWAP just to reassess. Holds VWAP. Comes back in, because again, we're close to all-time highs here, and gives us this beautiful, beautiful flag of that flat top break. So when it finally gets above this 87 halves with some distinction, we just off to the races, trending to the upside, kind of magneting back up, grinding back up to those all-time highs from prior days. So definitely have it on watch here. The long was definitely not wrong. Strong reasons to buy at VWAP for Micron on the day today. You can see how it held VWAP like a champ, not once, twice, but 3 times before it started to really kind of consolidate near the highs and then break out through prior day consolidation highs as well. So we're coming into all-time highs here. I have ultimate all-time highs here at 294.51. That's in the pre-market session from Friday. Let's see if we can kind of reach there going into the end of the day. And it's funny because the DDR5 RAM prices are going absolutely crazy. And I sent this video in the chat a couple. Was it over the weekend right here, where I'm just like, this is untouched from my PC that I built a couple of years ago. Let's see if I can open this in a different window here. I don't think I'll be able to open in a different window. No, I guess not. But yeah, no, I have an untouched stick of DDR5 RAM, which I have sitting around here. Yeah, let me make it full screen, and then we'll put it on the screen here. Okay, so give me 1 second. Okay, boom. So right here. So this is me just being like, I messaged the boys, and I'm just like, was this a good long-term investment? Because I haven't opened this in like 3 years. I have 2 sticks of these in my PC. Kingston Fury Beast, DDR5 16 gig sticks, unopened. And I looked up the value. It's almost over 100% now, I think, roughly. of how much I bought it for, somewhere between like 70 to 100%. But absolutely crazy some of these prices. But I still haven't put it in my PC because I think for gaming, for those of you who know, dual channel is better than quad channel. Even though I could be doing more work at the same time if I threw in a couple of other sticks.
Or you could flip it and buy more burgers.
That is a great idea. I would be able to buy a lot of burgers. A lot of burgers. I don't know if my system would be too happy with that, though.
I got the shakes that'll make you quake. I got the fries that'll cross your eyes. I got the burgers. Well, we just got burgers. I know you've seen that one, right?
No, I have not.
Cheeseburger Eddie? Oh, come on, man. Cheeseburger. That was one of Terry Crews' best roles.
Really?
Right. Yeah, it's they remade The Longest Yard. Do you know what
No, of course I've seen The Longest Yard. They remade it?
the one
Or did I watch the
Okay, hold on. Okay, before we go back to this.
Adam Sandler.
Yeah, okay, so.
Is that the remake?
About the Adam Sandler one, not only is that a remake, it's not even the first remake. So the original, like, yeah.
Damn.
The original was with Burt Reynolds.
Okay.
Do you know who Burt Reynolds is? No. He was like, okay, so the original was with Burt Reynolds. Then there was like they made one, like a remake of it called The Mean Machine, where it was like an English footballer.
Okay.
Same concept. And then the Adam Sandler one got made too. But anyways, Terry Crews is hilarious in that. The next symbol on the list, I don't even know. Like I think it might be Tesla, but I'm not sure. Is that a good guess?
Ooh.
Am I right? Tesla? No? Okay. What? Okay, how am I close on Tesla?
Wait, changes mid-rundown?
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Dynamic.
I see what's up.
I like it.
It's dynamic like that. So I'm okay. Well, let's find out what it actually is. The next symbol.
ACO Holdings, Neil. If you don't know ORBS, what are you doing on the trading floor? I say that very facetiously, up 18 2/3 here. ACO Holdings, they announced a $125 million share buyback program. They hold about 10% of the world coin supply. They're also chaired by the much loved Danny Ives of Wedbush, who views this buyback as a vote of confidence. The company, just give you an idea what ACO does, they focus on developing digital identity and authentication frameworks aiming to create shareholder value. Which company is not trying to create shareholder value? In any event, trading below VWAP, 250 high with a 185 low. What's a look?
If you have to say you're creating shareholder value,
Don't force it. Don't force it.
This.
Come on. Can't force it.
We've got this.
Gates of hell.
I must have.
So anything bearish, basically.
I must have another one.
That's
I
what
got
you're saying.
this. Okay. And then if you hold it for too long, you get emotional damage. This is okay. See, remember where they got the bear on your shoulder? No, that's where it needs to be. Now this is an impressive looking chart. If only it was the other way around. Really, honestly, like if you could just somehow like not be this and you just shorted it from forever. Like what is this? Is terrible. This is terrible. It's horror awful. Obi's got it. Don't put the. Okay, anyways.
Trying. My little buddy here.
I thought. Okay, never mind. I'm not even sure we would go with. We just like
it's so bearish. Look at that. That's
no. It's but as literally as bearish as it possibly gets.
Short the pops.
So you take this thing with a grain of salt. Generally speaking, short the pops has been the way to go with ORBS, no question. There's a lot of names that'll look like this, and it doesn't mean it doesn't mean you don't start a business and try to solve a problem or have something viable. But when you're trading or you're looking at a stock performance just based on the technicals, just based on what you think is going to happen next, this has a long way to go to prove that even a temporary bottom is being made on this bad boy. So like it's already backside of the trade. It gave up the entirety of the gap and then made a little bit of a dip, but can't seem to hold on to this $2 level. So I'm not really seeing much that's bullish for it this afternoon. I feel like with this, you got in early. Congratulations. Hopefully that you took some profit. I can't see any reason why this is looking good at all or enticing. Hard pass, dump it.
All right, guys, so millions of concussions, 0 approved therapies. Orogenics, that's OGEN on the NICE. is advancing a new standard with its intranasal brain-first approach to concussion treatment. With an $8.9 billion market on the horizon, Oragenics is positioned to drive what comes next. See what's ahead. Book a meeting today. Yeah, so this Orbs, again, I was talking to Sharif about this one, and I was just like, wow, take a look at this beautiful, beautiful reversion. We talk about symmetry. Oh my God, that is those are some really fine legs right there. To the upside, all the way 190 pre-market breakout, all the way to 250s. Can't get through 250s, pulls right back in. VWAP rejection, back into opening range lows right there. So, and then now the volume's kind of dead, so I don't know what it's going to do now. But you can see while it's doing volume, absolutely beautiful both ways, kind of for the longs and the shorts. So yeah, in the pre-market session, it's doing relative volume. That's probably what's bringing you to this. And then you kind of you can see how well it holds and respects structure and breaks structure as well. So technically, very, very good opportunities on this one right here. 8 co-holding Orbs. Will it have something tomorrow? I have no idea, but you can see how much the volume has dropped off since the morning session. So a bit of a crumble. I call this kind of price action crumble price action because there's nothing. If you want to try to grab some crumbs, I have no idea. It's not for me. But you can see literally the chart looks like crumbles, low volume chop, and maybe bigger structure is holding as it continues to make lower highs, holding underneath VWAP right here. Maybe some bags from the morning as well, but maybe we'll see. I don't know what the news is, and honestly, it doesn't really matter. Stuff like this, like we said, you can see the higher time frame that Neil pointed out. Every time it pops, it just gets sold right into. So I don't know.
That's what it is, man.
Bearish.
What's the joke? Sia doesn't like the Cybertruck, so I was just surprising her on my previous desire to want to buy the Cybertruck, but that's on the back burner now, as we know. Let's talk a little. Let's talk a little Tesla, Neil. It's down 2.5%, as I can see on your chart there. Multiple reasons, you know, that we had the NHTSA probe into the Model 3 emergency door release last week. Today, we got more news out of South Korea that the company there, I believe LNG. LF, thank you for that. Basically, they were citing that they're cutting their cathode supply to Tesla by now 99%, although all that supply was destined to be for Cybertrucks, but because those are not selling, the contract has now been terminated, which is more of a comment on the lack of desire for the Cybertruck. So Tesla dropping straight down ever since making those all-time highs into almost $499, guys, with a 461.32 low today.
I was going to try to get this poll before you finished speaking. So I'm literally typing this poll as we speak. Would you buy a Cybertruck? And yes, Sharif knows what's up. No, Team Sia. And we'll just keep it. We'll just keep it that simple. Hopefully, I mean, I don't know. Like, first of all, would you buy a Cybertruck?
I mean, I wouldn't buy it as my first vehicle, but like if I had a fleet, it would definitely be part of the fleet, for sure.
If you had a fleet,
which I will.
Okay, can I ask a non-serious question?
Yeah.
How many vehicles do you have to have a fleet? Like, what are we talking about?
That's a great question.
Because I feel like
that's a great question. Because here's the thing:
people throw around.
Here's my dream fleet.
Oh no, where'd my poll go?
I mean, we're talking about Tesla right now, I know, but dream fleet.
It didn't work. I gotta do it again.
Skyline R34 Nismo edition. We'll try to find the Midnight Tuner, but we'll see. AE86, 1986 Toyota Corolla. I want the Panda, that's for sure. I want a Toyota Supra, classic one, not the new one. That's trash. What else is there? There's a couple of good ones. You know, the Civic Type R. Newer car, but that's pretty solid as well. That'll give a lot of cars the run for their money around the track. A few motorcycles as well. You got to have a Ninja for sure. I'm very much a Ninja person, and yeah, maybe a Cybertruck. In terms of trucks, you got to have the tank, which is the Toyota Hilux, right? So I got to have one of those because you never know. just in case you have an apocalypse. You want a vehicle that can be thrown around and crushed and still run. So a Hilux for sure. Let's see what else. A GT 500. I don't know, man. I'm not a big. Even though it's a beautiful car, very classic. But I don't know about a GT 500. We'll see. Maybe I'll get into some muscle. But I like my JDMs.
Damn. Okay. Well, so I literally started off by like, okay, well, how many you need for a fleet?
Yeah. So is that a fleet? That's what I wanted to get to. Is that
like you definitely want a fleet. Like, there's no question. Like, I thought maybe this guy's talking about, I want to have like 3 or 4 vehicles.
Oh, RX-7. Thank you.
No,
yes.
you very clearly
wide
want
body.
a fleet.
Yes.
But either way, I'm voting no in the poll because would I buy a Cybertruck? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I already voted no. Okay, fine. I already voted no. So Team Sia, 74% of you would not, in fact, buy a Cybertruck, and then 26% are Team Sharif. I didn't have to make it about one versus the other. But Tesla is certainly weak today. It was actually trying to break back up just a minute ago, looking like it had a chance to break out of this little consolidation to run at VWAP, and no mas. I think it's on a one-way course to at least the 50 period on the daily. So that little jaunt, we talked about this morning, like you rejected 500, and then 490 had 3 days of just intense selling. 1, 2, 3, rejecting 490 every single time. You couldn't even get back up. I was thinking like fill in the gap and then short up here somewhere. Just hasn't happened. And then it tried to break trend on the 15, couldn't do it. So no trend break here for Tesla yet. It still could happen. Like this 15-minute candle has like 7 minutes left. It's entirely possible this can close green and make a run at a kind of like a reversion into VWAP. But that's what I'd look for this afternoon for Tesla. Otherwise, I think the 440. For sure. And for myself, like for me, like whatever, like I have nothing against the Cybertruck. I think at some point, obviously I'll go electric at some point, but I'm more of like, I need 2 vehicles, man. One that gets family around and one that I commute around myself in. And I'm pretty simple when it comes to that. I don't think the Cybertruck would fit either one of those needs for me. But,
in terms of practicality, it's not. It's definitely not something that fulfills that. There's so many other things that you can definitely get that are 100% more practical. But the fries smell good. You want to try some Cajun fries? These are not bad. It's just a little. They're just crinkle fries with some spice on them. But the burger is what I'm waiting for. I got to warm it up a little bit, like maybe like a 10-second warm up. But I don't like my food that cold. But anyways, Tesla is definitely not cold in terms of price action today because it gave it to you. It gave you that pre-market breakdown, which was absolutely beautiful right away, works right away. That's what you want to see with some of the best ones. But yeah, it gives you a bit of a chop, comes back in, and then gives you that second leg. So that's a quick scalp off of the open, and then decent opportunity on the VWAP failure to follow through as well. Reclaim gave you a bit of a long, but couldn't get through that opening range high. And guess what? A little bit of a trend break right here happening as of right now as that kind of bleeds off all the way back down to day lows. Let's see if Tesla can crack through those day lows. But sideways consolidation is what I wanted to point out on the larger time frame here as well. But we'll take a look at that in a bit. But continuation of the selling that we saw in the going into the end of Friday in the Blue Ocean session and off of the open, and now going into the end of the day as well on Tesla. So seller dominance throughout multiple markets. What's up, Sia?
So Sia was muted just there, so we'll get back to her when we get the mic issue fixed. But before we throw back, it's actually kind of decent timing because we did get a super chat that we didn't get a chance to get to, and it's an easy one from Danny's boy 12345. What up, Danny's boy? Obi, can I live in one of your cars just until I make back some of the money I recently lost on silver? Obi just went to heat up his burger, but I'm gonna answer for him, Danny's boy. If Obi's going to roll with a fleet like that, then I will volunteer one of his rides, one of his whips, for you to be able to do that. Obviously, I hope you're joking around a little bit there, but no, it has been pretty rough for a lot of that pullback. And that's sort of the thing. Like when you're following the trend, sometimes it does require like you're buying at some highs when you get a bit of a dip. So, good luck for sure. But I can tell you, Obi's kind of nice like that, but hopefully you don't actually need to live in one of his rides. Let's go back to Sia. Mic issue should be fixed.
I'm sorry that I made you guys lip read, my bad over there. But we're gonna quickly go over some releases. So the 6-month bill auction came out at 11:30 a.m. this morning. The current number is standing at 3.5% compared to 3.48 last time. And we're also awaiting the Chicago PMI tomorrow at 9:45 a.m. Nothing else major as of today. Let's take a look at couple news headlines. SoftBank has announced to buy Digital Bridge for $4 billion and has recently sold its entire stake at NVIDIA for $5.83 billion to make room for its OpenAI investment as well. The company said that it will be buying Digital Bridge as part of its artificial intelligence push, and the price per share will be $16 per in cash. And Tesla's $2.9 billion battery deal has collapsed to, yes, a whopping $7,386. That is a big difference. South Korean company L&F's deal to supply high nickel cathode metals to Tesla in 2023 has fallen greatly from $2.9 billion projection. And yes, you did hear that number right. For your knowledge, by the way, the cheapest model of Cybertruck was pulled this year in September. And in June, the company announced 0% APR financing for those who ordered the truck and also opted for the $8,000 full self-driving package. And the high nickel cathode was designed for Tesla's 4680 cells, which is the primary consumer for whom is, you guessed it right, Cybertruck. And that's all for now. Back to the guys.
Thank you very much there, Sia. And Obi, while you were heating up your burger, I just want Danny's boy, that fleet of cars you have, he gets to, if he needs to, he gets to live in one. So you might want to figure out which one that he's allowed.
Sure. Maybe if it's the Cybertruck, then yeah, we could put in some upholstery and make it look nice, maybe livable as well. You know how people do the RVs? Yeah.
Yeah.
Get a little comfy. Okay. Ramin's just like throw him in the Hilux and drift him around. Hey, listen, Ramin. Drifting is reserved for the 86 Corolla, the RX-7, and the Supra, maybe. Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
We need to have a Ramin, hot mic.
Yeah, and you guys need cameras up there as well.
They can hear me sometimes, but when I'm being too
I'm here to suggest an 11th or 12th, I don't know how many they have, Fast and Furious movies. You know, we've had Tokyo Drift. We need Ramin Drift. I just need, I need more details. I need the story. I'd be thoroughly invested. I'd watch it.
It exists. I've sent the videos to you guys.
Okay. Yeah, so according to Fabian, this is actually a good point. Like, everyone talks over our production crew. So it'll be difficult because then we sit here and we're constantly
here's a fix for it. But if there's a camera, right? Then we're like, okay, someone's coming on. You pass the conch, right? It's a little bit of a visual cue to help that out.
It could work,
right?
There's always a way to make it work.
You got to get them in here, man. I'm telling you.
Just saying, like, there's got to be a way to make it work.
Yes.
We can figure it out. I'm sure we'll figure it out. Look, the queues have broken through. The Nasdaq futures and the Qs have broken through the volume weighted average price, and we're really starting to get a little bit of pep in the step. Unfortunately, BNAI, why do I already forget the name of the company? Whatever, brand something. BNAI does not break out. Like, it tried to hold above this prior channel. This is exactly kind of how it failed before. Like, you know, you got into this breakout of the channel, and then you failed, you break out of the channel. Maybe it's a fake out here and it can get back into consolidating off the top. Because I was pretty close to looking at this. I wanted it consolidating over the prior high. It got pretty close to doing that and just ultimately kept failing. So it's still on the radar for either that or wait for it to come back into the trend support line, which still hasn't happened yet, unfortunately, for BNAI. Looks good, the volume's good, just hasn't really set up along at all. We got another super chat. Oh goodness, now I have to have this page up. Meta is going up. Well, the market's going up. Jusu, 94. Thank you for the super chat. Obviously, we appreciate all of our viewers, and we appreciate all of the messages. And we have a great trading community. You don't have to send the super chat to get our attention, but obviously, it does jump out and it stands out. Thank you so much. We'll put that towards more of the fries that smell really good. If I wasn't full right now, Obi, That is, it's difficult. You know, Cajun fries smell delicious, and it's one of those smells. It's just, yeah.
Good. Gets you grumbling.
Thankfully, I'm full, but man, that smells good. No, but Meta is grinding higher. Unfortunately, Meta actually down on today's session more than the overall market, and it is running into some potential resistance. I'll say it's 660. Sellers there all morning long. It's trying to go V-shaped recovery. Hasn't done so yet. This has not been an insignificant price area. Meta, for the last week and a half, has been chilling out between the 50 and the 200 period moving average. And I think the last time I talked about this, I said the next time I get interested in Meta is when it breaks away from this particular consolidation. Like this, when it condenses here, I literally don't care which direction it breaks out. I just think it's tradable outside of that. So whether that's breaking out above the 200 period and 675 or breaking out underneath 650, I want to be ambiguous to that either way it decides to go. Yeah, Meta, again, yeah, the market's trying to go here. Whoops, I just typed in, see, muscle memory. I went to type in BNAI, and I'm not even thinking, and the fingers have a mind of their own, and because I've probably typed in BBAI about 1,000 times more than I've typed in BNAI, we go to the wrong symbol. But BNAI is trying to get back, hold above that 280, not doing so. I don't want to diddle in the middle here. I either want to be long off the top end of the range, or we can get this 250. So I'm willing to be patient for it for a short, because that's what you have to do. Like, you're setting up a trade, like, it has to show me that I get a good entry point, not just that, oh, I wanted it to be a long, so I'm going to go long anywhere. But if you are looking for opportunities as a, let's say, seasoned or sophisticated trader, and you happen to be in Canada, well, then Beta Pro has something for you. Beta Pro by Globex Canada is the largest provider of leveraged ETFs and has just launched 6 new triple leveraged ETFs. You got 3x bull and bear exposure to the S&P TSX 60. You got semiconductors and U.S. Treasuries. On top of that, they're offering a special fee rebate. Management fees dropping all the way down to 65 basis points until December 31st, which is only a couple of days away, everybody. So, if you are a tactical, sophisticated trader and you are looking to amplify your performance, you can check out betapro.ca 3x daily to learn more. You can also scan the QR code you see out in front of you. And it's crazy to say that there's only two days left in the year.
Man, that burger is so sublime.
Huh?
So good.
Sublime?
Sublime.
Who the hell calls a burger sublime? That's the dumbest thing. Sublime?
Yeah. Come on. So good.
You're trolling me right
It's
now.
got a double patty. There's some cheese, melted cheese. I don't know.
It looks good.
I ate half of it already. It's good.
Lime.
The jalapeno.
Oh, jalapeno. Oh,
It's got some jalapenos. It's
killing me, man.
The name of the burger was Jalapenos Gone Wild. I was like, yes, let's do it.
You're killing me.
Yeah, man. I think it's Havarti cheese. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but bit of a looks like a brioche bun. But it's pretty solid stuff. I was so hungry. Anyways.
Well, you did. You were.
I'm hungry for the next opportunity. That's some more hunger right there. But there's nothing really happening.
Even better than he's saying. Trust me.
Micron is pushing highs right now. So, whether you want to call after hours highs, all-time highs, or intraday highs, all-time highs, it's already broken the intraday all-time high right there. That came in at, let's just go to the daily here and measure that, get VWAP out of our way right here. So what is that high? We've already broken that. That was prior day. That's coming in at 290.87. So we're currently trading at 292.50s. Sorry, 292.36s. 50s is the high right now on the day. So yeah, nice little steady trend higher. We talked about this consolidation, that breakout, very successful breakout, grinding higher, building structure, and stepping up onto itself for a push towards maybe those 295s. And soon enough, maybe, Neil, we see that 300 coming in as well. Again, these these RAM prices, these memory prices are off the charts. Funny enough, I was in a Canada Computers over the weekend, and this guy behind the counter. Complaining about RAM prices, and I'm like, first of all, why are you complaining to me about RAM prices? I'm not even here to buy RAM. I went to go buy like a wire and like this Bluetooth thing. But yeah,
He's making conversation.
He's making conversation. I'm just like, yeah, well, you know, the environment. This is kind of the environment where things are being used. All the data centers and everything. You need a lot of RAM. I saw a picture actually of a bunch of RTX 5090s just lined up on the wall because they have enough money for buying the infrastructure or buying the thing, but they don't have enough money for what the energy to power it all. How crazy is that? This environment is absolutely wild.
It's insane.
But it is what it is. AMD, hello. How are you doing?
Hilarious.
I just looked to my left and I'm like, yeah, AMD kind of moving in the chipset. Intel as well, about to break high a day.
So you're right at AMD is at a 3-day high, right at that 216 level, and looks like it's attempting a breakout. This is sort of the thing. Like, oh, look at how strong the trend is. Oh, but if every single time we've hit 216 in the last 3 days. Rejection twice, rejection once, rejection, this looks like 3 times, but I don't know how much I trust that pre-market action, but let's at least call it 5 times in the last 3.5 sessions that you've rejected the same price in AMD. So let's see it buy over the 216 level. That would be a little bit better. You got NVIDIA also going. I keep looking up to see if BNAI is getting there, but not quite there yet. NVIDIA also looking pretty strong, as it's not at the highs, but certainly breaking away from VWAP. So the market is really starting to come back. This small capper, BNAI, the volume's still pretty solid. It's trying to get back and hold above. What I like about this is the last time it sort of failed up here, it pulled all the way back into the trend line. This time it's not really. Like, now we're hugging the upper band, which is better. Like, if we can get back above 280, like ideally what I want to happen is get a close up in here, open and close a bar above 280, then go long that into the to the top of the trend line or in the top of the channel on BNAI. It just hasn't really happened yet. Fedora the Explorer, love that name in the chat. AMD Lisa Su, keynote speaker at CES Tech Conference on Monday. Ooh, should be good. That should be good for sure. AMD. The one thing to consider about AMD is the whole idea is like a rising tide lifts all ships. Like, if NVIDIA can sell in China, then maybe AMD can sell in China. And if the market, and if this whole, let's just call it AI spend, doesn't crumble on itself, then the addressable market continues to grow, and then AMD doesn't have to have a big market share because the pie is continuously growing. They don't have to be NVIDIA. But it's just, for me, it's just priced so ridiculously compared to NVIDIA on a PE basis. It's like, I don't know, it's difficult for me to be in love with this one. Like, I recently sold AMD shares, well, a couple of times, because I preferred to sell them as opposed to NVIDIA, to be honest with you. And I kind of feel like that was the right call, and I still prefer NVIDIA to AMD. Like, if you're going to make bets in the space, I feel like this is one. I don't need to be redundant with both of these two names. Just kind of pick the one you like better, and I happen to like NVIDIA better. But I'd look for a reversion in here as, oh my goodness, is that what I think it is?
Oh, hold on 1 second. I gotta redo it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I saw you.
I have a question.
Pull it down. I wasn't sure if you were ready.
I got a question here. How do I do the picture-in-picture? Boom. Where is it? Oh, I lost it. Give me one. Just give me one.
Oh, okay. Well,
like we
Obi's
got
something fun.
This is what I think Adara was hinting to earlier.
This is exactly
where you need a bit of here. This is the one. You need a bit of a sequel to the Fast and Furious, right? So this is Ramin? This is your truck. I recognize the truck. So we were talking about. We were talking about Ramin's truck.
That's just her truck. That's her.
That's her driving this truck.
That's Ramin.
Ramin. Look at that.
Hey.
Some skills, some drifting. Well, I don't know about drift. Half a donut, quarter of a donut.
Obi, put some respect on me.
Ram does
quarter of a donut right there. Boom.
Ram's not playing at all. He's not playing even a little bit.
Do you come out of the vehicle? Okay, no. Nice.
Now you see why I'm Team Ramin? You don't want to mess with her. You're not going to see Sharif do that.
You don't want to mess with her.
I mean, maybe he does. I have no idea. Maybe Sharif does.
Michael Peter Ryder saying that's just a normal truck. I don't know, dude.
It ain't about the truck.
That tire is like half of me. It's all of Ramin.
It has a 6-inch look.
Ramin's not playing around.
Crazy.
Ramin is not playing around at all.
Yeah. Anyways, that was interesting. AMD pushing its highs right now, 216s. Having a little bit of fun here on a Monday. Holiday trading, definitely, for sure. Things are doing low volume moves here, but Micron, I am watching very closely here as it continues to kind of melt up all the way up into prior days pre-market highs, which is 294.63s is what I'm watching here. So let's see if we can get to that 295 with any sort of distinction. We already have done some significant action here. Again, on the break of that 287, on the hold of prior day's highs, which is, again, intraday regular trading hour all-time highs here in and around 290s, we called it. And then, yeah, pushing up into some of these levels here. So this was some structure, pre-market structure from prior day. We're pulling up into there as of right now. And yeah, the sector's definitely catching a bit of a bid. You can see here the market itself is starting to trend back up. So we were kind of teetering in and around the day lows. We broke down this consolidation, but then we broke the downtrend, stepped up a little bit higher, and now pushing back towards opening range highs. Again, we talk about some of these days where, you know, maybe less participants, things are choppy, things are in a range. Market's been in a range all day, Neil. So,
but it's trying
opening ranges. We're just kind of just knocking around. It's trying to break. Let's see if it actually does now. That's the question, because we wound up all the way into the lows, as you can see here. Lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. Finally breaks down, and then steps right back in and bids right back up. So definitely, the question is, does this kind of action market some ideas to shorts who get in for the break, and the break does happen, and then, you know, it kind of comes right back in.
SLV's at VWAP.
Start stopping out. Yeah, SLV right at VWAP once again. So is this more of the same is what I'm going to ask right here. Thank you for pointing that out, Neil.
Well, that's me. Yeah, it was, as BNAI is not cooperating with the whole idea of it potentially breaking out this afternoon. Got to pivot over to SLV, because SLV, silver, 8%. Again, I know I'm looking at the ETF, but, you know, there's a trend from the bottom. There it goes into VWAP, so it's pretty close. I mean, it's literally breaking the trend line as we speak. It hasn't done so necessarily yet, but, you know, I like VWAP, especially in the afternoon, because it gives you, like, if you're looking to fade, it gives you an area to fade off of. Like I know generally, well, I mean, you could look at two places. I could say, okay, well, this is the candle that re-breaches the volume weighted average price. I can stop out above it. I can look at like a prior high when it tested VWAP before. I could give it to that level if I wanted. So it gives me some obvious areas that we can work off of, literally in the same position. Anyways, yeah, so we like VWAP here on silver for obvious reasons. And it's just a continuation of the trend. Like, the trend has been pretty distinct when it comes to silver holding on to the volume weighted average price. So
you gotta remember, this thing's SSR. That's the thing. Earlier, I think it might have hit SSR. No, you have to wait for the uptick there. But yeah, no, I was trying to hit it earlier, and I was like, oh, okay, I can't hit the bid.
Or you just sit on the offer. Instead of trying, like I was just trying to hit, the same thing happened to me. Like I was trying to hit down and couldn't, but then I just left the offer at VWAP, and then you can still get the fill. As we just hit power hour, everybody. Power hour is in. BNAI still disappointing. Let me know if you guys are watching any other small caps that are moving, or if you see something that's picking up. Like my trade rates got interesting. I thought like SLV would be on here. But when I look at my trade rate, I've got like Tesla, SIDU, Sidus Health. Oh, sorry, Sidus. No, it's not Sidus. It's Sidus, not Health. What am I thinking? Energy. Is it?
Is it a space name?
It's space.
It's in a space.
Yeah, but it's not Sidious. I just call it Sidious because of Darth Sidious. Then NVIDIA's in here, ASTS, SPY, TSLL, OMER. Not familiar with that one. QBTS. But interestingly enough, on my trade rate is not silver, which is weird, but true. All right, so what does SIDU do? Usually if something is popping up on my trade rate, I expect to pull over to it and see something interesting, but I'm not. This is actually going sideways. So I call that a little bit disappointing. Every now and then the trade rate's not going to be dead on. It could have just been a weird volume spike or something, or like dark pools taking over. Let's go back to the desk. Sia's got something for us.
We're going to quickly do a small cap before I move on to sector. So the Russell today is down 0.7%. Overall, energy minerals is looking pretty good today. Everything else seems flat as of now. We're going to take a look at two individual movers. Praxis Precision Medicines, PRAX, is up 12% today. The shares are up as a result of the company's win of a U.S. Food and Drug Administration. And the company said that the FDA has granted a breakthrough therapy designation for people with a specific nervous system condition. Moving on to CDE Core Mining, down 4% today. Silver miner shares, as you all know, have been down and falling today after the earlier day slip of 8% as well. Another silver specialist, HL, Hecla Mining, is also down 4% today. And that's all. Back to the guys.
I can't, thank you very much, Cercia. Being an actual self-identifying nerd, the second I heard Praxis, I'm like, oh, word?
Why is that so familiar?
Oh, wait a minute, hold on a second. You actually know this reference?
It sounds so familiar.
It was a Klingon moon. The Klingon moon of Praxis. Okay, anyways. No, so you don't know that reference. It's fine.
It's a thing reference, right? Star Trek, yeah.
Yeah, Star Trek.
I know Klingon. Not like I don't know Klingon, but...
Hold on a second. Sia, oh, okay, first of all, Fabian's over here. That's not Klingon.
Fabian definitely knows.
It's Spock, obviously
there you
Vulcan. Sia knows as well.
I've seen the movie. Or the movies,
I keeps it real.
Oh, Pixels the movie. Is that the one where?
Okay, first of all, no one
yeah,
can
no one
hear
can hear
Sia,
them,
so thankfully maybe that's a good thing. No, in all seriousness, Sia just said, I only know Star Trek because of Pixels,
Oh boy.
the movie. The movie Pixels was interesting. It's well, it sucked. It was an
It
interesting
was okay.
movie.
It was interesting.
Was
but
it? Was it? Yeah, I don't know.
It was okay. I don't even know what what's the score on.
I'm just saying. What? Who actually like Pick? Okay, first of all, Pixels. I'm sure if I went to like Rotten Tomatoes right now, like
Yeah, it's like 33%.
Yeah,
I got
my
like a
side, it'd be
5.6
like-
on IMDb.
it'd be like a 27 or whatever.
I have an IMDb cutoff, by the way. Yeah, 5.6 on IMDb. But I have an IMDb cutoff
Yeah?
where it's just
Is that
like
high?
I like 7. Anything above a 7, you know, it's usually pretty good. It's pretty consistently decent. But yeah, anything below like a 5, 5.5 is usually.
For being real though, you gotta like what you like.
No, of course.
You can't, you know,
of course,
you
yeah.
always do you. Don't worry about what other people think. It's just like, the way I see it is like, it's the worst way to live your life is caring about what other people like. Because that's such a
course,
horrible, it'd be like the depressing thing. Like, instead of just doing what makes you happy, you're worried about like, what makes other people happy so I can do that. And then they'll be like, look, you're cool too because you're in this in-crowd thing. I'm like, what the
That's
heck
fair.
is that nonsense?
I mean, you need some
Like,
some sort of filter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like here's the thing. I don't want to watch like something for like 2 hours and then be like, oh, that was bad.
You know what's
You know what I mean?
No, I don't mind taking the example. One thing also, if you start something and it's not good, do not get the sunk cost fallacy. If it's trash, just stop watching it. If the book
But
ain't
what
good,
if it's
stop
like a
reading
train wreck? You know, it's so bad, but you can't stop looking.
The Room.
Yeah, so
I've
I disagree, Neil, and I'm going to hop on Opie's theory. I think if a movie is bad, you have found the best movie ever. I am a massive fan of those so bad it's good movies, and I have like accumulated a short list of what I think are like probably the 5 or 10 best, and you know, test them on people. So I'm like, if you like bad movies, definitely hit me up in the chat. I love a good movie. I'm a film nerd, but I actually think sometimes bad movies are even more fun to watch and more enjoyable, and I think the RR sometimes is even higher.
Well, I don't disagree with that. I just said like what you like. Like not secretly, I've watched The Room like 5 times. It's the worst movie ever made according to just about everybody on the planet, but it's so bad it's good. It's fantastic. No, you should like.
Yeah, you like what you like.
To be honest.
See, you just trashed me for liking Pixels. That's not fair.
No, I didn't trash you. I just said I think it sucks.
He's offended.
No, I'm just saying,
Oh,
like,
boy.
but I watched the movie and I really tried to enjoy it because my nephew really liked it. My older brother's oldest son really liked the movie. I'm like, okay, let's give this thing a shot. Usually he'll like some stuff that I'm like, yeah, this is fun. And I was like, man, I can't watch it. It just, and it wasn't bad in the good way. It was bad in like the I can't watch it way. Just keeping it real.
Yeah.
No, but like there's something intrinsically fun about like a train wreck movie. That's just it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
But like that's a different category. Ultimately, like it's not like the Room is objectively just one of the weirdest train wrecks you'll ever see. Like there's no direction, plot holes out the wazoo. Like it doesn't make any sense. But it's so much fun because you're tearing me apart, Lisa. I don't really care. I'll say it over and over again. You should, if you've never seen it, you should watch that. By the way, BNAI again. This thing can't.
Holding.
It's holding. Okay, this would be the actual attempt again to get above this channel. I should just be short. You know how tempting it is to be short this thing every time it tests the highs instead of looking for like a consolidation above that I can get into some kind of a breakout. But every time it looks like you're going to stop these topping tail candles, it just does another one. Unfortunately. No, but this silver is at that VWAP and it's starting to break out. So if you go back to, I was long into this level before, so that was the resistance, but now I'm short into the same area. It's about 66 here on SLV, but I want the back end of this trade to start coming in as we'll go back to the desk with Adara.
I've talked about red wire, guys. To RDW, as you can see, this most recent 3-minute candle getting a little bit of a spike to the upside. James Altuche calling this one his top pick for 2026, saying that 2026 is going to be, quote, the year of the microcap. So again, the RDW getting the Altuche nod, pushing to the upside from day's lows, mind you. Back to you.
I don't know. Distinctly different is what I'm saying. I wasn't getting filled like that before. But yeah, we'll see how it ends up. Market with a little bit of a pullback right here. SIDU, I guess this was the short. You had to be quick. You had to be fast when it kind of comes into 70s and then slaps right back in. Like ideally, if you're looking at it, if you're watching tape, you're probably taking this 70 if you're nice with it. But then maybe taking 60s as well on this trend break. Maybe you're taking a 56 as well. Definitely not nice with it as I'm chasing the moves kind of both ways here. I liked this short earlier. It did come into VWAP, did come into prior structure for, 245s. That was the breakout area. Now we're trading a little bit higher here at 250s. But yeah, dwindling volume is keeping me away from this one here as of right now. Micron continues to steadily grind up a little bit higher and higher. So I have eyes on that one as well. So going into the end of the day, how much time do we have left? We've got an hour left here, Neil. So we are in power hour. I don't remember seeing the
it
graphic.
happened.
But
we don't have the graphic. I can't hit it.
Right. But yeah, no, we are in power hour right now with only about 50 minutes left and about 40 minutes left until those imbalances. Let's see if we get any crazy imbalances. What's a trap?
No, I just felt like hitting the key.
Yeah, I think
I just wanted to, I didn't have the power hour key. I'm like, I want to hit a button.
It's a
somewhere.
trap.
I'm just gonna hit that one.
Yeah, I mean, Friday was definitely a little bit of a trap for the longs as those imbalances came in, and then we just slammed all the way into and through day lows on a lot of stocks. So I'm maybe looking for something similar here. The fact that the market's still within the range, hasn't really broken out of it, kind of tells me that, yeah, we can do whatever in this range. It doesn't really matter, right? We can kind of travel either way. So take that how you will is what I'm telling myself. But yeah, we'll see. This current 15-minute candle printing a little bit of red, but let's see if it kind of goes red to green. I'm talking about the Nasdaq. The ES, a little bit different. It's printing a very strong green candle into this kind of prior structure from the morning. What do I have there? It's about 1030. That's a 1030 high, just shy of 69.60s. So that's that on the ES. What else are you guys watching? I'm looking for the next trade, man. Where's the next trade? It might be silver, but silver seems like it wants to squeeze a little bit here going into the end of the day and maybe doing more of the same that we've been seeing. So maybe, you know, the move here on silver not as done as we think. We got 1 day of selling. That's not enough. We got to see some significant action here, maybe over the course of a few days. We've seen how many days it took to run up. Again, is this one of those cases that we take the stairs up and the elevator down, or does it just jump out of the window?
I think you always take the stairs up and the elevator down. Yeah. Almost every single move, I don't care like whatever, how fast it is or how slow it is, generally speaking, if when the trend breaks, it falls faster than than usually the way it goes to the upside. But we don't determine that until some follow through tomorrow. What I can tell you is that prior resistance, it's hilarious. Like on a day where silver is down 7%, it would make sense to have the losing trade I make on the stock actually be a short instead of, like, it's trending down all morning long, and all I do is like long it a couple times that worked, and then I'll lose on the short. So I'm jumping out. Instead of it broke out here where it resisted, then I'm getting out of the trade. We'll let it see if it can't settle down. I don't mind jumping back in, but that's going to require, like, this next 15-minute candle has to show me some red. Like, there was no confirmation on the higher time frame, so it just looks like it's continuing this breakout. And I said just during the lesson of the day, like, you can have a bias, but the bias is only a part of it. You have to actually put trades on. Like, that's how, and it's gonna sound weird, but I've noticed that this is true, at least for myself over the years. Like, I can't tell you how many times, and if you've watched the show, like, I'll look at a stock and it might have been trending down, but if I had essentially like only sniper entries, like in specifically, I might just be against the trend 2 or 3 times, but then that actually works out. It's just, if you're gonna do it that way, you can't be all over the place. Like, you have to be really picking your spot and then taking the profit wherever it might lie. I should have JC money. Shoot. Prior resistance is futile. You know what? I should have.
That's a good one.
As long as we've been doing the show, the simple fact that I've never said that is terrible. Like, how I've not said that in 5 years, it doesn't even make any sense. Oh, by the way, for my birthday.
Yes, how was that? Happy belated birthday.
Well, I mean, my birthday's on Boxing Day, so I'm with my in-laws. We're up north, so it's more of a family thing. It's not really. It never ends up being about me, but that's normal if you have a Boxing Day birthday. I'm kind of used to that. But my brother, who's amazing and awesome, Lego Starship Enterprise, which it's on back order, so I'm not actually getting it for a while because he wasn't sure, and he was like, "Look, I want we talked about it, and I was like, of course I want this. My only stipulation when I get a big Lego set that's really cool, as I said, I'm not, regardless of when I get it, I'm not going to start it until, like, I can't promise we'll always build it together, but I won't start it until you're visiting, because you need to be here. Like, it's a thing we do, even though we're older now. It's like, well, like, if I had
awesome, man.
like, when I got that Superstar Destroyer, it's like, we'll just pop on Star Wars and we'll build. So yeah, I'm not making this up. I'm actually getting Lego Starship Enterprise, which is a pretty cool piece,
That is dope.
to be honest with you. I love Lego. My daughter just got the, it's discontinued now, but it's the Lego roller coaster.
Okay.
They stopped making that, so we had to get it off of, whatever. You can buy it on eBay, but it's what it is. There's so many, it's a strategy now with Lego. Like, a lot of things that you would think would still be made, it's like they'll build it, they'll have it available for a while,
quantity, yeah.
limited, then it gets discontinued after a bit, and it kind of keeps people buying like myself and creates a secondary market for it, keeps the value up. So it's pretty smart on their part, but if you like a lot of it, then it's kind of frustrating. Oh no, BNAI. Okay, well, all right, BNAI is now back. Looks like this breakout's gonna have to wait, but hey, we're patient about it. It never really looked all that great. Now it's gonna have to work off this support line. So I might nibble. I'm gonna nibble in. Oh, that's right. I already had a stop. So I'm gonna nibble in here off the 50s. If it doesn't hold, I can jump out with a tight stop under 48, but I can't observe this. It's like an all-day trend line and play it in either direction. But if it breaks under, I'm absolutely looking reversal to 220, but I'll try this one at 58 for now. If it holds above the trend line a couple times, I might be able to add to it and then play it into this high. Like, it's about 275 to 280 where you'd want to start taking, or at least get some profit on this thing. So yeah, obviously BNAI, bit of a turn. Thankfully, I didn't buy it at the highs, but just buying it on this all-day trend. And it'd be a quick reversal if it loses the 50 level, I think.
Yeah, for sure. We're getting a bit of a bid coming right back in here. So I was watching the Nasdaq and the ES. The ES kind of stronger than the Nasdaq here. We did print that prior 15-minute candle as a red one and started this one off with a bit of green here. So I got close eyes on. We'll see, but you can see here prior highs. This is what I was talking about a little earlier. It's high that we made around 10:30. We came right up into it. and catching a little bit of turbulence in and around that area here. Silver, yeah, a little bit against the grain here as it continues to push, or it started to push above some of these prior highs. But we'll see what it does in and around VWAP, 65.70s right now, trading above VWAP. This bid has been pretty aggressively strong, holding this trend, breaking out a prior structure. So I'm definitely early to the move if it's even going to happen. But I'm going to be patient here, really waiting to get a little aggressive here. We talk about it being SSR, so you have to. SSR is a little finicky because you got to get in on an uptick. Exactly, you can't really hit the bid there on an SSR name. That's one of the mechanics. Unfortunately, they don't have that for the other way around.
No, because why would they? But you know what? It was
balance.
There
must be balance in the force.
Not in the markets, man. The most heavily regulated thing in the world are the equity markets. So they always come with rules. When I started trading, they had the uptick rules in effect permanently. Like you couldn't.
Yeah.
Like it was wild. Like on a day where the market was trending down, you couldn't hit the bid to go short. So you could have locates and the ability to short, but
so how would you get short? You just go any gateway.
You have to wait for an uptick.
Any gateway, throw any gateway out, cross.
But you had advantages back then because there was no. Here, let me just. The best way to explain this is to pull up a stock that is not moving. There was no what's called Reg NMS.
Okay, right.
Right. So back then, all these different gateways. So these are all the bids and the different places you can buy stock, like NYSE, EdgeX, you can sell, ARCA. Like these didn't all have to quote at the best, national best bid and offer, right? So see how it's 32 by 33? Well, if there was nobody on, let's just say ARCA, like if there was nobody there, you could offer 32s. So you could be sitting there crossed, offering, waiting for an uptick, and then you could get filled by adding liquidity at 32. But now you can't offer 32 without removing liquidity because like every single gateway has to be able to wait for this to clear and then you could sell at 32. That would create, there used to be arbitrage opportunities between individual gateways. Like it was wild. You quite literally could stare at the book and you would see sometimes a single gateway just throw a stock off because somebody, let's just say, could only execute on a particular stock. And that would happen often on IPOs or sometimes on anything that was in play. You might have like a program buyer or like an all-day buyer or seller that is literally executing on only one gateway.
Yeah.
So it would be a huge advantage if you would ever see that happen. You just can't
think about it. You see other players live. You can definitely,
yes.
You
used to be able to see the individual market makers. Yeah. Like if it was Goldman Sachs on the bid, it would be GSCO. Would just show up the same way I'm showing you a gateway. It used to just be GSCO, and then what Goldman would do often, and this is a true story. This would be back in like Goldman would sit there sometimes if they were playing a game on a stock, and they would just have like Goldman would be on the bid, Goldman would be on the offer, and it would be like 99999. So it'd be like maximum displayed size on the top of both sides of the book.
Yeah.
And then they would hold the stock there. And then it was like a guessing game, which way is it going to break? And every time that happened, the stock was about to break nice and break big one way or the other. So they were just holding it there until whatever.
How would you trade something like that? Just have orders on both sides? Be like, if it goes that way, we're gonna take it that way. If it goes this way, we're gonna take it this way.
So my play every single time was the second I see one of them start to degrade, I would cross in the other direction. But I try to add liquidity.
Okay, so when the order starts to decrement, you're just like, okay, we're gonna punch into this.
Right. Like I wouldn't punch in. I'd cross in, try to get the rebate, but at the bid. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. The whole point, the real point about it was the games that were allowed to be played when you could cross and lock books were vastly different. It's a much more efficient market now. We complain about things like the uptick rule, but you shouldn't. It's a much better and more fair market. I know, look,
there should be a downtick rule.
There's a trade-off. There's a trade-off because now you have all kinds of dark pools, so you don't get anything for free. Like everything is always a trade-off. But if I have to be real, like I would say in terms of like the seeing momentum, it's just a little bit easier. Like like a trade that I do now, where I said, look, okay, like I wanted to reverse in BNAI if it lost to 250 level. Like this kind of a move, it's easier to pull off now. Because if you were long, you could easily get out, you just punch the bid, but you couldn't necessarily reverse a trend break as easy as you did before. So flipping directions is a little bit easier as a momentum trader. And that's a good thing. The downside also, though, would be that BNAI, if this stock was trading when I started and it done 141 million shares, the book would not look like this. See how thin this is for 140 million shares? This would be super thick 20 years ago. Like a stock doing this much volume, you'd be tens of thousands of shares in the bid and not all these silly dark prints going through. So it would, like what you see would really be what you get, which is not the case in the market. So, and trendy Gox, I trade anything and everything. Over the years, I've said this many times in the show. The first check I cashed as a prop trader, I was trading penny stocks. I make no bones about that. Like I traded, and specifically, like the stocks I made the most money on between, I'm going to sneeze in a second, like 25 cents and 50 cents. And some of them, the volume wasn't even as big as you might think. Like some of them were fantastic, but like there were times I'd be trading stocks that were like 2 to 5 million shares a day in the penny stock range, but I was doing enough volume on it that I got really good at that. And then also some other small cappers as well. Like sometimes you'd call like a stock that was $1 to $3 like a penny stock, but it wasn't really. But like that kind of a thing. Like that's where I started out. And eventually, you morph and you sort of figure out strategies that work everywhere. But I know it started as a penny stock trader for me. I've traded Europe. We used to trade futures more, but not really so much anymore. I find more edge on individual stocks. But yeah, just reversed here in BNAI. I do want to see, Tay. I did short it on a trendline break, but I also originally went long. Just to be clear, BNAI, I was originally long on the trend bounce because it did bounce off the trend, and then it broke the trend line. Once the trend line broke, I flipped it short. So you can play that trend all day long on long side. I tried it on that one dip, didn't go, but now I'm reverse looking for the volume weighted average price. So you can always see the position board when it's working, obviously. And if you can't, then just ask, what are your thoughts here? Why'd you do this? Why didn't you want to take that trade? Like you could say like, why didn't you want to trade NVIDIA today? Like that'd be a perfectly reasonable question. My answer would be, just didn't really like the range that it was trading in. Like in NVIDIA.
Oh, who are you?
Like you just sort of, look at this. Oh, I see a buyer there. Yeah. I see what you're talking about. No, NVIDIA just didn't like the range it was sitting in. Like I want to be trading NVIDIA, I think when it gets out of like this bottom or above this 189. Like inside, like I don't want to be inside here. Oh no, there we go. There. Like something like this. Like when it's in this chop zone, I'm more interested in the stock when it breaks out of here than inside. I feel like it's going to be a lot of sideways action in NVIDIA, but like above 189.5, 190, I think you got some breakout potential, like a reversion up there. Or if this breaks down underneath, I think you could have some deeper follow through. Just don't like NVIDIA when it's consolidative. Consolidation is a good thing in obviously for a positive trend, but I'm just not in love with it for the day trade. When I see it consolidating in an area on the 15-minute chart. All right, so maybe we'll get into VWAP here on BNAI. That's going to be the target. I plan to be all out if we get to VWAP, so I'm going to put some bids out in front of that. And hi-ho, silver is looking like it might be the back end instead of the front end of the trade. See, this is the thing. I got in on the front end. This would be the back end, where it makes the high, now you have a chance to put in a lower high. And as I said, I don't mind getting a second time. So that could be potentially here.
Yeah, no. So there was when I said, hello, who is this? Or who are you? There was a 66 EdgeX, right?
I saw it, yeah.
Yeah, 66 EdgeX buyer with a little bit of size. I was like, okay, cool. Let's see if this is someone's exit liquidity. Kind of slow decrement of that bid gets taken out. We're pulling back towards VWAP. VWAP I have at 78. I don't know. We could chop around this 66 pretty decently now. So I am keeping a closer eye here on silver. As of right now, but yeah, if we hold VWAP and bid back up, again, we're coming into the end of the day here. This thing's been squeezing and bidding up into the close for multiple days, I think. Yeah, we've closed pretty green, even with bottom wicks. We've closed up near the highs as well. So yeah, keeping a close eye on this one. Maybe that 66 buyer knew something, I have no idea. But yeah, definitely some definitely a participant kind of showing himself or herself there on the day-to-day market. Still kind of choppy in the same range we've been in the prior 15-minute candle here, both on the ES and the Nasdaq. So it seems like we're kind of stalling this bid that we had since what is this, 2:30? Yeah, 2:30 all the way into 2:45. So about for 2:45, is that 2:30? So no, yeah, 2:30 to 3:45. That's what it is, because this is an hour behind. Always kind of messes me up a little bit, but yeah. So for about roughly an hour and 15 minutes, we had that strong bid on the market, kind of breaking this structure, breaking this trend, and pushing back up to the upside. So let's see if that continues going into the last 30 minutes of the day. It's 3:27 right now. Only two 15-minute candles left after printing this one. That finishes in about a couple of minutes here. What's going on, Adair?
A quick message over here from X at TTV Research, which I, of course, run. Definitely check us out if you enjoy fun research-themed content. Do you want to tease here quickly a post that's going to be coming out tomorrow around noon, so definitely keep an eye on that. This is a look at about 15 major analyst price targets for the S&P 500. We've got, amongst others, Bank of America, Stifel, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. I even have Ed Yardeni and Tom Lee on here. So that will be coming out tomorrow. Keep an eye on that. And I also want to tell you guys, if you have any ideas for any fun year-end infographics, year-end roundups that you'd like to see, tag me here in this chat with your ideas, because I want to make sure that all of our audience's opinions and infographic needs are being represented. And that, back to you. And that will be posted again tomorrow.
I like that. Always good. A good thing to do when we're just sitting around, and as many of us will be doing on the first of the year, maybe you're getting a little bit of extra sleep, or you're just relaxing because you had a fun night. Check out some of it. There is fun infographics. Always a good read. But I gotta throw this up. And first of all, this was really nice of Stan to have said. But I was just sort of responding to this in the chat. But it's a good point to make here. First of all, no. I almost just said I'm 100% not right 90%. I'm absolutely not right 90% of the time. And as a trader, and here's the truth about trading. So I've been trading a very long time, for over 20 years now. And what I said in the chat is so profoundly true, at least for myself and the traders that I've seen that have been profitable. I'm not even trying to be right 90% of the time. In order to be, like, I absolutely am trying to win on 80%, 90% of my days in a month. Like, that's generally my goal. And I'm usually able to do that. But to put it into perspective, this is like 20 trading days in a month. To be green 15 or 16 of those days, I'm not actually correct on that percent of my trades. Actually, that's closer to like 55, 60% being good. So think about that for a second. A trader, to get consistently profitable, which to me, if you can have most of your days be green, let's say 80%, I'm only right like 55% of the time. But the reason why you can do that is because you try to have good risk management. Like, that's what it comes down to. It's like, how much are you paying for your, like, how much are your losses costing you? Do you have the ability to keep them relatively, like, tight relative to how much you could win? So I simply look at something like a BNAI, and it's like I could lose on both the trades, but if this one goes all the way from 50 into 20, then my average out's going to be about 30s or so I get about 20 cents there. And then I'm going to get out if it breaks 60 on the short. So if it goes to plan, I'm getting 2-to-1 on that trade. Well, how often do I actually have to be right there? I don't need to be right 80% of the time. I can be right 55% of the time, and then that trade's going to be profitable for me. I can be right 40% of the time, and that overall trade's going to be profitable for me. And you're just looking for that kind of an edge. So it's really important at the end of the day that you have proper risk management. Just know where it is that you're wrong in the trade, and I think you can't. It's not that you can't go wrong, but it's a lot harder to blow up your account if you actually have some kind of a risk plan, because that way you can survive long enough to come up with a plan, which is mostly what traders are trying to do over time. All right, so it's 3:30. On the early look, there's actually a few names in here. We see T a lot, but we don't see Schwab here very often. So Schwab is an early look buy of 3 million shares. FXI is 2.5 million. That's not nothing. UiPath, 1.6 million to buy. And 1.4. Owl is a sell of $3 million to the sell side. I'm not familiar with Owl. Blue Owl Capital. That rings a bell for some reason. It doesn't really matter. So I'd call Schwab the most interesting out of those for $3 million to the buy side. Let's go over to Sia at the desk for an update. Oh yes, I can watch.
Thank you. Let's take a look at the sector today. Electronic tech, tech services, retail trade looking flat today. But I will say energy minerals and utilities. Utilities is also looking kind of flat right now, but energy minerals is doing great. Green carpet, forest, we like to see that. XOM, we're going to talk about a couple individuals. XOM is up 1.4% after Exxon increased its investment explorations in new projects despite the company's anticipated downturn in the coming year. Company stock has also gained 1% as oil prices climbed today, right after the talks between U.S. President Donald Trump and Ukraine Prime Minister Zelensky. PCG is also up 1.8% after the company restored power to 11,000 customers in San Francisco as they were affected by an overhead equipment failure as of today. And J&J is also up by 0.3% after finalizing its acquisition of Halda Therapeutics for $3.05 billion. Also, a good thing to note is that J&J stock this year alone rose from 28% to a whopping 44%. That's all, and back to the guys.
All right, thank you.
Chad is undefeated. Trading Drew. First of all, thank you, Sia. But Blue Owl Capital was the company that pulled out of the funding for Oracle. I knew I remembered that. I knew it rung a bell, but I wasn't like 100% sure as to who they were. Yeah, well, that hasn't worked out for them either. Oh, Adara?
I was going to say, reportedly, they're still funding 2 other Oracle projects, so they're not completely done with Oracle. They're just, and according to Oracle, they didn't even pull out. It just wasn't coming to fruition. But yeah, I just wanted to quickly add that caveat.
Thanks, Adara. I don't think that's a stock I'd trade anyways, but it's always good. Like, I don't have that kind of a memory as I point at Adara or either to our viewers in the chat as well. So again, you know what? We didn't even look at Oracle. Well, I didn't look at Oracle today, but if I'm being real, this stock still is deeply in the penalty box. What do we call in this one? Let's go with, I can't hit emotional damage because I've already done that. So it's just a big face slap in the face. Oracle, it's not at fresh lows, but it's still very much making lower highs. So there's nothing about this chart that looks any good yet. I think yet's the key word, but you know, it's just not there at all. And unfortunately, this one might still be headed lower. I do want this to be a trade. Like I can want it to be some kind of a bounce trade at some point, but me wanting it and it actually happening are two very, very different things. I'd rather be late to a bounce that has some confirmation as opposed to sitting there hoping. Like the example I like to give is Lulu. Whoops, there we go. Like Lulu has been dropping, and I had a swing trade on this a while. Like I think it was a year and a half or 2 years ago actually. Man, time flies. Where it was on the monthly, it was respecting the 50-period moving average on the monthly. So once that happened, it's like, oh, just go long off of that as a dip. Now on the monthly chart, waited for it to start respecting the 200-period moving average. So here's the thing about, the thing about being, like you can like this for a bounce play. Look at how long this was trending down into that 200 period. First bounce happens 4 months ago. Then we have another second bounce. You could have waited until the third bounce and taken it when it confirms a green month and have this Lulu at 184. You can nibble in early and have like 170s, which I did, and then I added at 184, but who cares? You could wait this out till it confirms, shows you a green month, a full 3 months after it's bottomed, and you'd still be in the money 15, 20%. You don't have to have the absolute bottom. You can get a confirmation because it's a long-term, it's a play on the long-term chart. So, you know, why sit there having to micromanage, oh, is today the day it's going to bounce? No, every single time someone asked me about Lululemon, I said, look at the monthly chart. This is what I'm waiting for. And then it finally happens, so you go long. As boring as that might be, it's fun. Want to know why? Because it pays. And it already filled in this gap once to 228. Next out, in front of 275, and I would be all out if it gets to 325. Pretty simple. Like it's a pure structured trade, but it's on the monthly, so I would suspect that could take a very, very long time. Like in terms of like swing, like it could be the end of next quarter, like March, maybe even the middle of the year for that to get up there, which is fine because it took a while for that thing to set up as well. So I was able to get one target out there on BNAI, but that's all it ever did. Now it's just too choppy in my opinion. I'm not going to go back to this one. When it broke the trend, I wanted there to there, and it just didn't happen. So I jump out when it breaks that 260, and it looks like that one is going to be gonzo. Ooh, silver and gold, trying. It still hasn't been clean on that other side of the trade.
No, it's definitely, I mean, you can't really expect it to be clean.
Why do I keep having to,
that's
there we
the
go.
thing. You cannot expect it to be clean.
Well, this candle is it.
You got to provide some liquidity as well. That's, I love to provide some liquidity. So, no, but here's the thing, man. I know a lot of people argue this, but say, for example, one day, end game, say I want to be 5 to 10% of daily traded volume. How many participants do you think you'd have to provide liquidity to? You know what I mean?
5 to 10% of daily volume?
Yeah. No, you know what I mean? Like, you got to be like, okay, participants play like this, participants play like this, everybody play like this, these participants play like this. So it's like, if you're accumulating a position throughout the day, like, or it obviously maybe maybe you want to take the closing print, maybe you want to take it into the next.
When I was trading penny stocks, some of the penny stocks that I traded, no word of a lie, at the end of a month, I would be 5 to 10% of the volume on that penny stock. Yeah. But what I will tell you is, like the level to do that, the level of edge that you had to have on the stock was tremendous. Tremendous. And the other side of that equation would be that whole rule about losing small and winning big was true to a point. Because eventually, if you get to that kind of size, yeah, that's true for 90-something% of your losses. I'd have small losses. And I'd win like 80, 90% of the time. But at least once every few months,
yeah, you get
there's a loss that you're taking, which is more black swanish. And those are the days that ended up determining how good my quarter would be. It was like, when that one day happens, how bad is it? I think I told you this guy, I had this speech to the floor one time. I said, look, when you get to that point, it doesn't even become remotely about how good your big days are. It's like when you have your 2 or 3 worst losing days of the year, like what do those end up looking like? Because again, you're doing a higher percentage of the volume. And there's just nothing you can do about it. Sometimes you will be in a position where you're just doing the best you can to get out. That's the best way to put it. It's like, yeah, I want to be out if this happens, but then this happens, and getting out is more art than science.
Of course, yeah. No, I think
super chat.
Sometimes I think about like what is the end game sometimes, right? If you really want to play this game. But anyways,
Avengers.
100%. You get the Avengers end game. Nice. So okay, we got
Fantastic Four.
Which one? The latest one that came out? Yeah, that was good. That was good. I liked it. I liked it a lot. It has like a retro feel. It was solid, man. I loved it. Okay, so thoughts on SIDU, man. I'm watching SIDU on the left side of my screen here, and it is looking interesting for sure. Holding that 2 halves, right? We know it's been kind of doing things for the past couple of days here, so yeah, definitely interesting action on SIDU. Like I said, I think there's structure that I really like how it's dealing with structure, and that's the extent of my opinion on SIDU. The way it's holding and breaking and dealing with prior structures is kind of what do you call kind of beautiful in a sense. The way it's respecting it, right? So the hardest part here, I think, was trying to get in short on this quadrupole candle, 2 7s to 2 6s. That came in pretty hot, and I think this is on SSR as well. Yeah, a little bit of SSR. Where am I posted? Okay, cool. A little bit of SSR happening there on SIDU as well. So you got to be careful of that. One way might be a little bit more difficult to position into than the other. So that's always something you want to consider. Market with a little bit of a pullback here. This is 341, Neil. So yeah, coming into those imbalances soon enough. Let's see. Yeah, so that was a nice little puke on SLV, but we're holding in and around the 65. So we'll see how well this kind of.
Well, it's bounced. VWAP is exactly.
Yeah, VWAP
where
bounces. What's happening right now?
Yeah, I actually just got that curl and playing it into VWAP again. Like the candle, the candle break was heavy. This is the problem with SSR, is you can want that break, but you're not actually gonna get that break. So whenever that happens, I just kind of leave the orders in that you try to get on the way down, and then they fill you on the way back into the upside. One short, there is no imbalance on Amazon. And for everyone asking about the imbalances, remember the early look that we see before 350 only applies to New York stocks or Amex. Nasdaq stocks, we see the imbalance at 350 when they come out. So at 350, I can tell you if there happens to be an imbalance on Amazon. I cannot tell you with about 8 minutes to go. So we do have some time. It's still just Schwab, FXI, UiPath, Owl, and NU, Nubank in there as well. So those are the names that are currently on the imbalance locator. Mostly buys, Owl happens to be a sell, but yeah, I'll be able to tell you Amazon. At 350, usually it's like NVIDIA is pretty big, and like Intel seems to always have an imbalance on the Nasdaq side, and then usually one or two other big cap names might be around that million imbalance mark. Hey, what camera is that? You know what's crazy the other day?
Look at that. That's nice. Nice.
No, I forget what I was doing, and then my daughter just goes, "Daddy, you bald." And not like my hair is short, like she was literally, I'm like, what, you've never seen the bald spot on the back of my head, sweetheart? And she, like, it was the way she said it, it was just very, like, man, shoot.
Yeah, no,
like it hit different when she said it.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm gonna be along. Yeah, it sounds like it's coming from the back, right? But
is that noise?
No, I think it's a thing. It's
Well, that wasn't like a Dara or a Sia?
Don't think so. No,
oh.
I don't think so. But yeah, see, those are like noises. There you go. See the knocking noise. No one's doing that.
Get me all paranoid, Fabian.
Come on, provide some liquidity here, man.
Well,
Anyways,
I like that one actually.
Which one? The knock knock?
No, that's like the heartbeat.
Oh,
I can deal with that.
that's a good one. That's a good one. You know, when you're kind of in a position, you're kind of sweating a little bit. You're just like, okay, well, you know, is this going to work? I don't know.
Yeah, but you want your heart rate to be chill.
Yeah, of course. You want to work on that over time. I mean, let's see. Over the past, I guess, 15 minutes. Let me check mine. Let's see how that's been going here today.
Well, I have so many
daily. See, when was this? See, you gotta check the chart here. At when did I start getting into this position? I want to see that first. I'll check that out right after we come back from Sia.
Oh, thank you. We're going to quickly dive into sorry about that. We're going to quickly dive into money talk. So yen and dollar. The dollar slipped against the yen, and USD JPY is currently trading below the 156.3 area. Despite certain pullback, there are still projections for USD JPY to reach around 160 to 164 by end of 2026 if the global rate differentials remain wide. Also, we're going to talk about since the Tokyo Open, the AUD has been the strongest major with the biggest weekly rise since April, bringing its annual gain to around 8.5% in the last 5 years, while New Zealand dollar has been the New Zealand dollar has been the weakest, reflecting divergent growth in certain rate expectations, creating short-term opportunities in Australian and New Zealand dollar. That's all. Back to the guys.
The 31st.
31st, okay.
So 5 minutes till the imbalances. I was just sort of checking out what we have on tap for the rest of this week. There's a few things. I mean, it's a year end, so you might see a few things in there. UiPath on the 31st is an S&P 400 edition. So that'll be literally the last day of the year. About $560 million dollars worth of shares, 35 million shares to the buy side. Potentially, it doesn't mean it'll actually happen or come out that direction. We're still waiting on when CoreWeave is going to be an upweight, but that looks like that's going to be the big one at the end of the year. We'll see. It doesn't always play out. These expected massive imbalances work out that way. Like you guys, or Sean was saying that, what was the recent IPO? It was
FJet?
Medline.
Oh, MDLN, yeah.
MDLN was supposed to be an upweight, or an addition, and that was on Friday, and it didn't do anything. So you never really know. Sometimes it's the exact opposite. Like it's supposed to be a bid, which is good to know, and then it comes out the wrong direction, and then all you can do is dump it. Absolutely dump it. Because too many people go long anticipating, well, it's supposed to be a buy, so I'll just go long before 350. And then when it doesn't come out as a buy, what do you think happens to all those traders that tried to front run it? They all have to get out at the same time. Like it can work, but it can be a very dangerous thing to do in that direction. You have to be quicker to the exit than the other guy, which I suppose in some ways that's a lot of trading.
So my average on the day has been 65 BPM. Not too bad. But here's the thing, funny enough, there's definitely an uptick. There's a consolidation breakout happening here. Let me see if I can.
Consolidation breakout?
Yeah.
That's an interesting
I don't know if you
way of
guys
looking
can
at
see right there. You see that little uptick at the end there? You guys can see that?
It's hard to.
Right there. So you see that little uptick that's happening near the end there. That uptrend is literally from the time I started entering into the position. So that was around 3 o'clock. I'm like, yeah. So I went from a rate of 91. That's pretty high, man. I got to stop eating all these burgers. All the way up to 106s currently. So yeah, a little bit of an uptrend in that heartbeat. But yeah, over time I got to
My heart rate reacts far more to my coffee intake than it does trading.
So, yeah, I know. I've been hopped up on coffee all day.
No word of a lie. Like it's within like minutes after my first coffee, you just see like my heart, and then we just start going up because of caffeine intake, which is fine. Is what it is. Whoa, what's going on with Uber?
You got 2 minutes till imbalances.
Yeah, 2 minutes till imbalances.
2-minute warning.
Uber was chilling for most of this afternoon, and now not so much. The stock needs to. Whoops.
Didn't do what I was looking for.
The stock needs to sustain some buying above the 80 level. So like it's got this like downward chill, still making lower highs and lower lows and all that stuff on the daily chart. But there's a chance that a little bit of a breakout could be coming. I'm just being patient with Uber. I think its time is. It's close. Like it's pretty close. Like even just breaking 82.5, maybe 83, and then you could have like a little mini rally into the 200 period. But I don't think it's there yet, and it doesn't help. Yeah, like this fade here today doesn't really help. It's just still finding resistance 82 to 83. That sucks. I really thought like this morning I saw the spike and kind of figured this one would be a little bit stronger in terms of holding on to gains, but. That's the thing about being patient when looking for like swing trading opportunities. I don't swing trade often, but I want something which is confirming. Not just, I think this is making a higher low. Like I want something a little bit more constructive, which does mean waiting a little bit longer. 1 minute till those imbalances. We'll be able to see. There was someone had asked about Amazon. We'll let you guys know if Amazon has an imbalance. Still the same names on the early look: FXI, Schwab, UiPath, which I mentioned is supposed to be an upweight on. I guess that, I almost said Friday, but no. The 31st is actually Wednesday. So it'll actually be Wednesday, my bad, that you will see a potential big buy imbalance for a UiPath. Yeah, silver's starting to work its way back.
These guys really front ran the imbalances, eh? Let's see if it actually comes
if
in.
It comes, if SLV here as a buy.
Or if it sells off.
Punch out.
If it sells off on, yeah, of course.
Yeah, just I'm taking whatever wick it does.
Yeah,
and I'm either getting out on a wick or I'm either getting stopped out on a wick or trailed out or I'm getting the bid.
So we'll see how it comes in. It's funny enough, I've covered over 80% of the position here. So 5 seconds. Let's see, which way do you wipe? 65.80s. Let's see if price definitely precedes some of that action that we may or may not get on the
NVIDIA is a buy. So NVIDIA 1.6 million to the buy side there. You've got Intel 1.3 million to the buy side. TLT comes out 1.4 to the buy side. Rivian is a sell of 1 million shares. That's QBTS. That's still from earlier. Nothing too crazy. Rigetti is a sell of 960,000. So really nothing big. NVIDIA, that's a pretty small number. If NVIDIA is only going to be 1.6 mil, that's not going to be huge. You can see it barely moving the stock, but I did not see silver there. Yeah, I'm just going to get
not
out.
really on there. It's kind of chopping.
No, I didn't see silver on the imbalance locator, but as you can see, it bounced off VWAP there a couple of times. So I'm just going to take what you can get and don't be upset. Tesla making fresh lows. I didn't see Tesla on
That's
here
what my
either.
kindergarten teacher used to tell me.
Yeah, Tesla making fresh lows, just spiked lower, but I don't see it on the imbalance locator at all. Overall, the market was a small buy of 414 million the total market imbalance. So that's pretty much a nothing burger. But not a good day for Tesla, down 3%.
Yeah, Tesla's breaking that day low. Micron's breaking its day high. So market kind of, we did pull back. We had 3 red candles in a row there on the market. And yeah, in terms of imbalances, did you see Schwab at all?
No, it can't.
Schwab's a buy, but nothing crazy.
Nothing
happening
compared
there.
to.
Yeah, nothing crazy compared to some.
So Schwab, but that buy was the early look when it came out much smaller.
Okay.
Yeah, so it came out. So some people don't like to. I know Sean doesn't like to keep up. See, when you see BRKR, that's what it was before 350. So you can see by the time update here, like this says 346. This would be before the imbalances came out. I like to have that up so that I can, if it's large, I can compare it to what we were expecting to see. Because if Schwab was 2 million, you'd be like, oh my goodness, that's a big buy on Schwab. I'd be like, no, it was 3 million on the early look, and now it's only 2 million. So that's not bullish to me. But I like to have that as a quick frame of reference. I also have another locator that I have, which is more specific to individual stocks. But yeah, don't be, you get what you get and don't be upset. I feel like that's not like it's just something that like parents say, like. I feel like,
but with like the take what you get, and like I kind of I like that, but I've kind of molded that what is it, like a saying or like that way of thinking, and to take everything that you can, and leave nothing behind, and that's how ideally you want to trade, as well. So,
as little as possible behind. You'll never get it all,
of course.
Which means that's why like I'm never satisfied.
Is that a pirate saying?
What's a pirate saying?
Take everything you can get, leave nothing, something like that.
It sounds like a pirate saying. I mean, I don't know any pirates personally, so I couldn't really tell you, but for sure. Look at this, Drew Farrell. Oh, we're gonna go to see it, but like Drew Farrell with a good point. Tesla is closing the year at the same price it did last year. What a fun round trip.
Take what you can, give nothing back.
There you go.
That's the pirate. That's the.
That sounds way better.
Yes.
To see ya.
We're going to do a quick crypto update. Coinbase has joined prediction markets and is joining major firms such as Fanatics and DraftKings. The stock is currently trading negative 1.4%. We're also going to take a quick look at XRP, which is down 0.9%. XRP has been facing increased selling pressure. Crypto analyst Ali Martinez has shared data that earlier today that revealed that XRP is at risk of losing the $1.77 support level since the price is failing to recover. That's all. Thank you so much. Back to the guys.
Thank you very much there, Sia. And as we've been talking about risk management a lot today, I feel like it's a good time to mention that Trade the Pool is changing the way that you can engage with the market. Because if you didn't have enough money to start, or that fear of losing, well then Trade the Pool's new revolution of limited risk trading allows you to use funded capital while Trade the Pool takes the downside. So you can focus on your discipline and consistency and growth. And when you hit a profit target, you can keep 70% of those profits. No fear of barriers, just a real opportunity. The revolution is called limited risk trading. It is powered by Trade the Pool. You can visit tradethepool.com or scan the QR code to get 10% off your first evaluation. Shout out to them. And with only 355 just hit, so we've talked about this before with the imbalances. Thank you, Trade the Pool, for sponsoring this part of the show. Looks like nothing really changed big. NVIDIA paired off, which we expected 355. I do see GDX kind of popped up here as a 1.2 million to buy, kind of a little bit late, but nothing too crazy. You'll see most of the large numbers. Anytime most of the board is the early looks, that just tells you that pretty much everything is paired off, and you now have no big imbalances whatsoever. So NVIDIA going the other direction. The point I was making just quickly about Tesla was someone in the chat was mentioning, if you go all the way back to where Tesla was at the end of last year, it was rejecting 500. And then we come back this year and was rejecting 500. But on the way, where did it triple bottom? At $220. And my favorite price of $222.22. Because why not Tesla? It was a good level, but it just goes to show timing. Like if you bought it at that high, a waste of a year. But if you were patient about letting it make a triple bottom, then you could bank. on Tesla last year. So unfortunately, Tesla 3% down. Ain't over yet, but it does look like it's going to end the year rejecting that 500 again. I feel pretty confident in saying that. Yeah, that 500, who knows? And if we get 220 again, that's also, like, if that nonsense happens again, I'm buying 220, 222. And I'm not even putting in, I might even stink bid that crap now. No, I won't. I'll wait till it's lower, but no, I'll do it again. I'll buy a 220, 222 if we get back down to that price. I tend to think we're not going to, though. I think there could be some pep in its step off the 200 period before we get there. So Tesla's the kind of stock that can do it. Like, you should never think that it can't happen on the way back in, just like Bitcoin. Like, anybody that's like freaking out about how far Bitcoin has dropped, it's like, have you looked at a chart of Bitcoin? Like, what are we doing here if you are surprised by this kind of a pullback? Like, this is standard operating procedure for 30 and 40% pullbacks from the highs. You just got to be able to understand that that's the notion. And we tend to be, it seems to me that we're in a bit of a deeper pullback here that could take a little bit longer. So 2.5 minutes to go, Obi. Thanks for filling for Sean. I know for everyone that kept asking, Sean's daughter, Gia, is in a tournament in Buffalo. Great city in the U.S. that just so happens to house the NFL's best player, Josh Allen, for anyone that doesn't know, but that's not what he's there for. Gia's got a hockey tournament, so he's down there. He'll be there tomorrow. Obi's going to be filling in again. And for Joe as well. Like, you're literally doing double duty. He hasn't even eaten his food.
No, I did. I finished. That burger is heavy. Double stack.
You got to get, okay, first of all.
Sorry.
I see ya.
Yeah, no, dude. Yeah.
I'm pretty satiated. I might eat some later. I got to do some work, kind of after hours as well. So I got.
You let the fries get cold.
Yeah, but that's fine. You can warm it up.
I know I should have just had some of those fries, even though I was full for my lunch.
There's still some.
I'm still. But now they're cold.
So
cold Cajun fries.
I mean, it's better than no Cajun fries.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'll have one, just one, and 2 New York cent. Here, I'm just gonna eat.
I'll have one as well. Yeah, not bad. Come on.
Cajun fries are really underrated.
Oh yeah.
Well, but 2 New York cent. Here's where I disagree. Why would the Bills go for 2 points? Why not just kick the extra point? I would rather see the MVP try and score from inside the 5-yard line and then you win the game than overtime is a coin flip. So I'd rather have the offense on the field. To me, you should have a better than 50% chance of converting a 2-point conversion with the best player in the game having the ball in his hands. And he had it open and he just missed it. But the going for it's the right call. You win the game, you play to win. That mentality, too, is how you win Super Bowl. So I was fine with the call. You should never, I don't believe in resulting. I never judge something based on, well, did it happen to work or not? Was that decision that you would make every single time in that scenario, and then over the course of your career, was it the right call? Not did it work out that one time. You can't look at things that way. I thought it was easily the right call, but that is what it is. We lost that one. 30 seconds to go here, everybody. Looks like I'm going to go back over to Tesla. We were just talking about IBIT, but Tesla, this is closing on the lows.
Like I was saying, like, how much more information do I need to know that sellers are in charge? End of day, prior day, gets swiped.
There's a lot.
BL session gets swiped. Opens up today, cannot break through the consolidation highs of BL, and now getting swiped into the close once again. Come on.
And I want to give a big shout out to OGEN. That's OGEN, listed on NYSE. Scan that QR code out in front of you for sponsoring the closing show and the closing bell, where Tesla ends up down 3 1/3%, where the Nasdaq ends up down, not a terrible day for the Nasdaq, down 0.5%, but as you can see, more in the middle of the range. Choppy session. We end up right back. Right at 9:30, well, at 9:35, this is where we were in the Nasdaq on the upside. So just kind of like a roundabout and washy kind of day. But ultimately, you had Micron and some of the chip names that were strong. You had Tesla, which got the boot. But I think most of our biggest concern might be what happened in this parabolic move up in some of the metals, the silver in particular, down 7% from what was just some crazy all-time highs. Well, I promise you this. There will be action tomorrow. Volumes aren't as big this week, but there is still plenty of volatility. Have a look at silver. Have a look at Tesla. There's opportunities out there. Crypto's going to move as well. You had small cappers moving as well. That BNAI was moving up around all day. SIDU was moving around all day. And we'll be back tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. like we always are. So going to give a big shout out, of course, to our team. I know everyone's in that holiday mood, but we look and sound good because of Fabian, Ramin, and of course we have Andre who's still on vacation. We'll shout out to him. Joe's on vacation. Shout out to Obi for filling in for both Joe and Sean, who will be back on Wednesday. Shout out to Sharif. Of course, shout out to Adara, all the infographics and the crazy memory, and Sia doing a fantastic job. We are Trader TV Live. We will see you tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Everybody buckle up. It's going to be another wild one.
Yeah.
There's a ball cam again. See, like right back. It's like right in here is like the